Hey everybody, today we're going to be taking a short look at the First Democratic Debate for Presidential Nominee of 2020. To best sum this up, there is a video that the Washington Post put out. Let's take a look.
Cada persona en nuestra democracia. Cada votante necesitamos la representación y cada voz necesitamos escuchar.
La situación ahora es inaceptable. Este presidente ha atacado, ha demonizado los inmigrantes. Es inaceptable.
¿Qué haría usted en el primer día, si usted es presidente, sobre esta realidad que está ocurriendo? What would you do, Congressman, day one at the White House?
Vamos a tratar cada persona con el respeto y dignidad que merecen como humanos.
To sum up the events of that night, Cory Booker and Beto O'Rourke had a Spanish-off to prove to potential undocumented voters who can identify more with them. Throughout the course of the night, several of the nominees had intricate plans for immigration reform, as they call it, but what they really mean is open borders. However, when it came to creating new jobs, or revenue in general, incentives for small businesses confronting the opioid epidemic, suddenly their big-brained ideas came off vague, as if not thought out at all. Almost as if it was all put aside to help those that will help them in the future. And of course, them being the wealthy and powerful politicians who seek to exploit those that they claim to champion in order to gain a few extra years living off our tax dollars before it all comes tumbling down inevitably. That was not the only highlight of the evening, though. There was also a moment where a man pretending to be George Takei promised the right to choose to people who biologically don't have the right to choose. Check this out.
I don't believe only in reproductive freedom. I believe in reproductive justice. And what that means is that just because a woman, or let's also not forget someone in the trans community, a trans female, is poor, doesn't mean they shouldn't have the right to exercise that right to choose.
There's just so much stunning bravery going on here, I just don't know what to do with myself. We also have George Takei 2 confronting Beto, our cool dude Beto O'Rourke, about immigration, informing the audience that he's the more virtuous one, and he intends to decriminalize illegal entry into America.
We would accept them into this country and follow our own asylum laws. We would not build walls. We would not put kids in cages. In fact, we would spare no expense to reunite the families that have been separated already. And we would not criminally prosecute any family.
The reason that they're separating these little children from their families is that they're using Section 1325 of that act, which criminalizes coming across the border, to incarcerate the parents and then separate them. Some of us on this stage have called to end that section, to terminate it. Some, like Congressman O'Rourke, have not. And I want to challenge all of the candidates to do that.
But it was Castro that came out of nowhere. Nobody was talking about Castro. He did the Texas takedown, turned around, clocked Beto. I mean, you never saw it coming.
There were also technical difficulties, mysteriously, right when Tulsi Gabbard went to speak. And oddly enough, it seems that she went up in the polls right after this debate. Now, despite what people at CNN and MSNBC might say, Gabbard seems to be pretty popular. On top of the mysterious technical difficulties, wouldn't you know it, but MSNBC has been handing out copyright takedowns, not claims, takedowns, of live streamers commenting over the debate. Funny how this isn't seen as election interference. Speaking of election interference, can you imagine if Beto and Booker were speaking Russian to each other instead of Spanish? I wonder how well that would have gone over. We have copyright takedowns on several channels, including Shoe on Head, who was told by support that she would have to wait 90 days and watch a video educating her on fair use. The absolute irony. So these debates have been getting taken down, and I can't help but wonder why. Was this done on purpose to go after people who might be on the right? Or perceived to be on the right? As we've already seen several times, a lot of people on the left perceive YouTube as being a right-wing platform, despite all of the nonsense that goes on over there that goes after right-wing commentators or people thought to be right-wing. You have content creators constantly having to jump through invisible hoops all day because one or two people might decide that they're a wrong thinker. At some point, I think people might begin to realize that this isn't a right versus left issue. This is the corporate media going after potential competitors. For now, that's all I have though, and I plan on coming back to talk about the second debate, at least if it has any notable moments like this one did. And also, Bernie Sanders is apparently starting a streaming channel. He can still win, guys. He just needs those super chats. But anyway, you guys have yourselves a lovely Thursday, and I will see you all next time.